I took a journey on my bicycle that lasted for 2 years. I had $18 in my bank. My old mountain bike, but I had my legs and my heart. And I learned a lot of things on that journey. And a lot of things happened that gave me so much faith. And I want to tell you about it right now. And this journey brought me my child. And so, I'm so grateful to have taken the steps. It started when I went canoe camping in the north of Quebec with my family. And when we drove to the reserve, I don't like that name anymore, the First Nation village of Kitigan-Zibi, I saw there was a big sign as you drove through the village, and it said there was two pictures of two young women that were missing. And it put something in my heart, like profoundly. It really hurt me and brought a lot of pain and wonder, why is this happening? And then I went for canoe camping for a couple of days, and on the way back there was a voice in my heart that told me I had to do something about those missing women. And but I didn't know what yet. And I prayed, and I remember bicycling in the cycling path through the forest, and there's a big raven that flew in front of me for almost 10 minutes and told me that I needed to go towards the mountains. And so I remember talking to my family about my idea, and how I thought, like, I'm gonna get a van and I'm gonna head towards the mountains. And I remember my dad said, "But Guillaume, you're broke right now. Like, you went bankrupt and you have nothing, and so, but you do have your old bicycle," as if it was a joke. I'm like, "Wait, you're right." And and so 2 days later, I was set to go across the country on my bicycle, and it was the end of summer. I figured if I bike non-stop, hi,
Hello.
hey dog. I figured if I bike non-stop, I can get there, like, to Vancouver before winter, from northern Quebec and go all the way across Canada. But what I didn't know is what was waiting for me on that journey, where the further I got, the more I got connected to the communities. And before I even knew that, I remember calling the chief of that First Nation village and saying, I want to do something about it. I don't quite know what yet. And he gave me his benediction. Found it a bit funny that I didn't know what I was going to do. But I let my heart guide me, and then that's when the raven told me to go towards the mountains. And so that's the journey that I took. And with that, at the beginning of the journey, I got some people wanted to help me, so got me a trailer for my bicycle. I had an old mountain bike, a used mountain bike I bought years and years ago, that was not in the best shape. It was a bit too small for me because it was a woman's mountain bike that I had bought used from a co-worker at a fire station at a small fire department I was volunteering at. And so it's too small, and it was a twin suspension mountain bike, like horrible to make long distance biking, great in the mountains to go downhill, not made for that stuff. So that journey was quite intense, but so rewarding. And I made so many friends during that journey. And as I was, like, not knowing where to turn, I knew I was heading towards the west, towards, like, the Rockies, but that was it. And my phone didn't have a map on it. I didn't have data on my phone. I really didn't have a lot, but I trusted my heart, and I knew that if God, Creator, told me in my heart to go towards the mountains, then this is what I had to do. So I took that journey to deliver a message of peace, love, and harmony to all the people that I would meet. And somehow on the journey, I understood that to help those women, I needed to write for Every Child Matters. So I started wearing the t-shirts and got a shirt that, if you've seen me in pictures or in the news during that journey, I was always wearing that shirt with the long sleeve that my friend Donna at her store in Little Current on Manitoulin Island had given me. I forgot if she sold it to me or given it to me. I think she sold it, but for like cost. And we became great friends after that. She was selling my novels at her store, and that was beautiful. And so this whole journey, when I met the first elder on my journey, waiting for the ferry from Tobermory to like crossing Lake Huron, I think, to go to Manitoulin Island. So that would be Northern Ontario in Canada. And while waiting for the ferry, which I had arrived on time the night before to take the last ferry of the day for like the 5 p.m. But they said, no, it's COVID regulations. Like people during like a couple days before had told me, like, when you get to the ferry you need a reservation because they're very strict, and my reservation was for the next morning. So they said, you gotta wait for tomorrow. I'm like, why? There's no space for my bike. They're like, blah blah blah, pandemic regulations. So anyway, I had to wait. I remember eating all you can eat fish and chips there in Tobermory at the restaurant. It was awesome. I made friends there. I ate 7 fish and 2 chips, like two bowls of fries. I remember they were quite impressed, but I had ridden my bike the whole day. I'm pulling 100 pounds of stuff, or like, I don't know, 40 kilograms of stuff in my trailer behind a mountain bike. Like, it was hard. It was a hard thing to do through the whole journey. And you don't even know, like, me biking in the winter, and like it became even more intense. And so while waiting, like, I knew why God was, like, I was criticizing the COVID regulations then, but I knew that the next morning, and then after the fish and chips, there's a couple that I met during the day. I spoke to for like 2 minutes. They were setting their bike on the roof of their car at the exit of like a dirt road that I had taken because I didn't want to take the highway as less as possible. And they invited me. They said, if you don't make the ferry, you can come sleep in our house. And I somehow reached them, I think by going on the Wi-Fi of the restaurant. And they told me how to get to their house, but on the map it would show like I have to cross like a forest. But I figured, like, hey, I got a mountain bike, I can do it. Bad idea. There was no connection, no real connection on the map. I spoke to a lady on the street. She's like, oh yeah, I think there was an old path through the forest there. I took it, and it became a swamp, and I pushed my bike and the trailer through the swamp. I arrived like super late there. She's like, oh my god, my husband went to your rescue. He's driving around. He thought you were lost. And there you go. I had like, my legs were very itchy. I probably got like poison ivy from there. But that was amazing. And then the next morning, while waiting for the ferry, I arrived there early at like 7 a.m. And then there's an old man, an elder, First Nations. He comes to me and he's like, I've been carrying something in my pocket for 6 years, and I knew that one day I would have to give it to somebody. And he gave it to me, and that was like a sacred item that he had carried for all this time, that he knew one day would give to somebody. And I felt like so blessed that he would trust me with that. And funny, because a lot of people along that journey that had already given me sacred items. I didn't tell you the story of this man that I met from India, who was a follower of Krishna, and like he invited me in his home for 2 days and taught me a lot, because he had just lost his guru, had passed away, and he was sad, and he gave me a lot of teachings, and that was beautiful, and gave me sacred items as well. And like this was first sacred item from a First Nation member, a man from Six Nations, a Mohawk, and well, kind of mix of Six Nations, right? In southern Ontario. So he was from there. I'd been there for a while to teach, and now he was going back to be with his partner on Manitoulin Island. And like we chatted for a while, and then on the boat I went and find him, and we chatted for a long time, and he told me stories about residential schools, about the peacemaker, about the sacred, is it the sacred tree or the tree, the great tree of life? I forgot the prophecies. But that was beautiful, and that was my first interaction with First Nations, and well, except the ones that where I bought the T-shirt. I forgot the name of that First Nation. It was kind of northeast of Toronto, in a field somewhere. I believe it was a Mohawk First Nation, but no, I forgot. So anyways, this story will continue because I'm done the short walk that I wanted to take. Hopefully the wind was not too blasting, but like we're just at the beginning, the very first steps, and this journey lasted for 2 years where so many connections happened. Like we're 1,800 kilometers further. That's, I don't know, I think miles is like divided by 3, so 600 miles or 650 miles or something. Further away, like a year later, like a winter later, I met on my journey the cousin of one of the young women that was on that poster. And he was just going through rehab, and like when I shared my story, when he shared his story, like we hugged each other and we cried, like both of us, and at not only like our humanity, but like the beauty of this, like the chances of this happening are probably none. Yet our Creator God has amazing plans for us, and like there's so much that happened through this journey, and which led to my baby while I was heading towards Yukon. And after Yukon, I was going to horseback all the way from Yukon to Argentina, do the whole continent. Thought it would take me 10 years, following the Rockies and meeting all the nations on the way, all the First Nations, all the tribes, all the communities, all the white people too, all the people from around the world that I would meet on my journey. And I've met many already. Where there's a lot of prophecies that were told to me or revealed to me that are coming true now. So my friends, I'll tell you the rest of the story on my next walk. Oh, and I forgot to tell you something, and I really don't want to forget next time I tell the story. So there's other people that I've met on my journey that were from that same first place where I started, and that First Nation village. Like I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing there's not more than like 200 people in the tribe like that lives there in the First Nation village. Actually, that makes me think of another thing, which like the Kitsganzibi, I didn't know what it meant then. I believe it's Algonquin language, which I found out during my journey that my great grandmother was Algonquin from Lake Timiskaming, but there's a First Nation village that was named Kitsganzibi, which was an Ojibwe, an Anishinaabe community, and they told me what it meant. It means a Garden River, because it was called Garden River First Nation, or Kitsganzibi in the Ojibwe language that is very similar to Algonquin. And so this is funny that I, from starting there, then I was led to another First Nation village that was named the same in a different language, but that sounded the same. And so just before I took the ferry and met that elder, the day before the day that I rode all the way to the ferry, my ex at the time had come and joined me, and we spent like two days, I think, just traveling around and visiting. And we were led to a First Nation on the east coast of the bay, and we were told that there's a lighthouse somewhere like through the forest, like it's far and it's hard to find. But I drove there and we found it. And I remember there was a couple there in their pickup truck, and they were just finishing taking pictures and they were about to leave. And we start chatting with them. And turns out that they're from the First Nation village where I had started my journey on a bicycle. And we were much further away now. I was like weeks after of biking and meeting those guys. And yeah, like not only was I riding a mountain bike and it was slow, when you go from the east to the west, you face the wind the whole way. So I learned, I didn't know, but all the people that go across Canada on their super powerful road bikes, or touring bikes, well, they go from Vancouver towards the east because the wind is on their back. So I was fighting the wind with my $18 and my old bicycle and my trailer behind, and it was crazy. So, and I did meet other people from there. Actually, last summer, like before I moved to Mexico, I was living on a island on the west coast of Nova Scotia with my baby and my ex-wife, and we went. My mom and my brother came and visit, and we went to visit a place called something Royal. I forgot the name of it. It was like an old French, like Acadian community. And there was like I was just by the water with my mom and my baby playing, and there's two women, like a I guess a granddaughter and her grandma, or daughter and mom, like I'm not sure. And we start chatting with them. Turns out they are First Nation. Turns out I share my story. And now we're like far away in the East Coast, and when I shared my story with them, they're like, "That's where we're from. Like we're from that village, Kitkanzibi." And so how are things all connected like that? I don't know. I don't seek to know. I think that just God, like our Creator, the Great Spirit, whatever you call God, Allah, has such amazing plans for each and every one of us, and that's just why I'm really pushing people to go after their dreams, their visions, the meaningful things that they want to accomplish in their lives. Because look, I've done it with $18, an old mountain bike. I knew I had legs in my heart, and I'm like, let's go. And this journey lasted 2 years, brought me a baby, I made so many friends and connections, and we're just like at the tip of the iceberg now. Like this journey was incredible. All the miracles that I saw on this journey, you're gonna see in the next video.